and welcome to my craft room. My name's Julianne Richards and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in southern Tasmania. Just bear with me for a minute. I've come on a few minutes early just to do all the normal housekeeping because it's been a wee while since I actually came live, so I knew something would go terribly wrong. It usually does. Let me check my volume. Came live. So there you go. That looks all right. Volume's okay. I'm going to share over to my group. Forgive me while I bring my iPad over a bit. There to there. And then we just sit and wait. Oh, we don't have to wait too long. I think we're pretty much on our scheduled starting time. Okay, thanks for joining me as you sign on. There's a few people jumping on already, which is great to see. I haven't got my chat on. Wait a minute, what's that there? Yeah, great to see so many of you showing up. Where's my chat there? Pop you out there. Okay, so, yeah, it has been a while since I've been live, and apologies for that, just because life just gets crazy at the moment. It's just really mad. Lots of things to do with my mum, which sort of leaves you a little bit emotionally drained, dealing with aged care packages and doctor's visits and all those sorts of things. And I probably don't have to tell half of you. You've probably been through it or going through it with an ageing parent. It's, yeah, emotionally draining. And it's like, well, I think of something nice and pretty and creative to do for you guys, and it just sort of doesn't happen. It's just really a bit difficult. But anyway, I'm here today and there's a couple of things that I wanted to show you, and yeah, I'll give you a bit of backstory to this as well. So as people are jumping on, we've got 6 odd over there. I can see Susan's on Facebook. Good morning, Susan. How are you, my love? Are you feeling any better? You had the dreaded lurgy when we spoke during the week. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit better as well. Yeah, I think everybody who was supposed to come today for our yeah, most of them that we had to cancel our World Card Making Day event this afternoon because I think 3 of the 4 people were unwell, and yeah, it just didn't happen. But anyway, we'll catch up again when everyone is well again. I can see who I've got here. We've got Diane and I've got Kay. Good morning, Kay. It's warm in Rockhampton today. I should think it'd be getting warm there every day, shouldn't it? We're actually looking at a nice day, a nice weekend in Hobart too. So that's something unusual. Excellent. All right, so we'll make a start. Now, first of all, I do have to show you all this. Now, if you've been somewhere in a cave or away from the internet for the last couple of weeks, you may not have heard about this deal, but I'm assuming lots of people have heard about it. I know I've been popping posts up every couple of days. So Stampin' Up! Are having their best ever joining offer, and that's not just an empty promise. That is actually, I've been with them for 9 years, and this is the best offer I've ever seen. And a lot of the long-serving demonstrators are saying they've never seen anything quite this generous before. If you join my team or any team, but preferably my team, in October, you will have the choice of 2 starting kit offers. The first offer, which I think most of the ladies who are joining my team already have taken option 1. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, you get $235 worth of product of your choice, including business supplies, which is catalogues and things like that, and free shipping for just $60. That's amazing. $235 worth of product for $60. So you don't have to do a specific starter kit. You can buy anything in that $235 that you want. So if you have a wish list at the moment that's $200 odd, this is definitely the joining offer for you. Now, just because you join, it doesn't mean you have to do videos. It doesn't mean you have to do classes. You don't have to do anything. You can be a hobby demonstrator and just buy for yourself. And if you don't meet the minimums, you drop back to customer, and there's no penalty, no paying anything back. It's just as easy as that. Now, option 2, if you've got a slightly bigger wish list, which if you're anything like me, your wish list is always quite considerable, you can get $344 worth of product. That's incredible. $344 worth of product of your choice for just $169. Now, again, that includes the same business supplies, catalogues, that sort of thing, and free shipping. So basically, at 6% normal shipping rate, you're saving another $20 on top of that, just in getting the free shipping alone. So $235 for $60 or $344 for $169. That is our October joining deal. So I'll go back to thing. So that's it. So if you have any questions about that joining deal, please reach out. I'd love to have as many of you join my team as possible. It's a great deal. The Chatty Stampers, I think the ladies who are on that are Chatty Stampers would say we're a lovely little team. Not one of these huge hundreds and hundreds of people in a team where you just feel like you're a number and, you never hear from your upline. Nice little team. We get together in our Facebook group and chat. We have meetings. We do some crafting together every month. It's a lovely little team, and I trust you that there's about 20 of us and I know everybody's name. I promise. That's, yeah. So if I get 50, 100, maybe things will change, but at the moment it's a nice size and we get along very, very well. Okay, so that's my spiel for the joining offer. Okay, so let's do some crafting, which is, let's face it, that's why we're all here. Now, this little card, I am a collection point for a Facebook group that collects cards all through the year to donate to various aged care facilities and aged support organisations. In Hobart down here, we donate our cards to the local Meals on Wheels, so that the Meals on Wheels people deliver our cards to their clients intermittently through the year. And there's a lovely little Facebook group that supports that cause. And on there, not so long ago, I saw a lady post a card that looked very similar to this. And I thought, oh my goodness, isn't that just the nicest thing you've ever seen? And it's so easy. So I followed up with the lady how she'd actually done the card, and she kindly shared her method. And I was so surprised at how actually easy it was. So if you can see there, we've got some strips of designer series paper, and in between the strips it's gold embossed. Now, I put together a little 2-minute video that just quickly showed how to do this one. And I've had some ladies say we'd love to see a longer version where you can actually explain the steps a little bit more than just a 2-minute video. So I thought today that I would come back from my medium-sized break from the live videos, and I'll show you how to make this one, which is the same as this one, except the strips are that one, they're horizontal in that way, and they're sort of cross-hashed this one. I'll show you how to make it. Then we're also going to make a card using the Love and Courage stamp set. Now, this Love and Courage stamp set is a very special ones designed specifically by Stampin' Up to express your love, support, thanks in and around the terrible disease of breast cancer. So we've got the little ribbon there. It could be any cancer, really. It doesn't specify that it's just necessarily breast cancer, but that's what Stampin' Up have done. And $4.25 in Australian dollars from the sale of every one of these stamp sets goes to support breast cancer research in Australia and around the world. But if you buy it in Australia, your $4.25 goes to an Australian breast cancer research charity. So, and I'm not sure which one it is, to be honest. I know there's a few, but anyway, that's basically where the money goes, or $4.25 from each sale. Now, I know we're all been touched by cancer in our lives, and sadly some of us will in the future as well. But yeah, so if you want to do some stamping and do it for a good cause, the Love and Courage stamp set is definitely one that you can, if your husband says, why are you spending so much on stamp sets? You go, well, this one's for a good cause. So, it's not your fault. Charity, you did it for charity. Okay, so we are going to make a card with that one as well, just to show you that stamp set, how cute it is. Okay, but let's do this one. This is our main showstopper here today. Now, this is the Gathering Together Designer Series paper. I didn't buy a whole pack of it. I actually just had it in my paper share, so this is basically all I've got left. It is really, really cute. It's got the autumn leaves, so it's a little bit out of season for us here in Australia, but it is so lovely. And it's got gold embossing on each of the patterns as well. So they've obviously got a gold embossed side and a plain side, but we'll mostly use the gold embossed side for this. And it's got the leaves, and it's pretty. It's got some pretty earthy tones to it as well. So that's the one we're going to use. So what you need to do to make this card is you need to create some strips. And who else have we got on there? We've got Evelyn's on YouTube. Hey, Evelyn. And Jenny's there, and Fran. Hey, guys. Okay, so I've got 4 different patterns of this Designer Series paper. Even though those two look very similar, they are different. This one's got a lighter green, this one's got a darker green. Anyway, and I'm going to cut, I've got 4 of them there lined up together, and I'm going to cut some, half-inch strips. And I'm going to cut probably 4 lots of 4, so 16. Might not use them all, but at least I'll have them there if I need them. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Learnt during the week that my eldest and his partner are just about ready to vacate their little house that they own and move back home with us next weekend. Something I've been waiting for and wishing for so long, because I'd love to see them settled in their little house. Is when I say little, it's tiny. It's not even, it's about 5 squares. It's tiny. It's like a granny flat, and they just don't have the room. So I've been dying for them to actually decide to move out so they can sell it. And now they've said, yes, we're going to come home so we can sell the house, or so they can live with us while they finish tidying it up and then sell it. And now it's nearly here. I'm thinking, goodness me, what have you been wishing for? Because I did tell them that they could take my craft room as an extra space for themselves. So thinking it was going to be like December or January before they came home, but it could be next weekend. So I may have to move out of my beautiful craft room and back into my old craft room, I think. Okay, I should explain what I'm doing here, because this is the reason that we're here. I've got a piece of white cardstock here. Now, this is just a scrap of craft shop white. It's not our beautiful white from Stampin' Up. It's just a scrap of sort of, I don't know what we call it, grey white that I just picked up from a craft store. I tend to use that now for bits that you don't see. And this is a bit you're not going to see, basically because white cardstock got a little bit expensive of late. And this here is double-sided adhesive paper. So I've just ripped one side off of the double-sided adhesive, and so I've got stickiness on this side, and I've still got the shiny smooth on that side. So the sticky side, this one that I've just stickified, I'm going to stick onto this piece of white, well, off-white. It's only when you see the other cardstocks that you realise just how beautiful white is. That's all right, Anna. I had a bit of a gab fest before I started, so you're not late. We're just doing the fun stuff now. Kay's here as well. Kay's another lady who's just joined or rejoined my team with the new offer. So Anna and Kay are new chatty stampers. Okay, so there I've got my piece of white there with my adhesive on the front. Now, the way this is going to end up is that there's going to be that's pecan pie, so that's a 5 3/4 length card base. Then I've got a little piece of gold, okay, which is, that'll be 5 5/8 long. You can see my face there, that's not good, there's my camera. And then this is another 1/8 of an inch smaller again, so this is 5 1/2. Okay, so they're just going to sit together like that eventually, so that's the sizing. And then now that I've got that piece on there, oh look, it came off so easy. There you go. So I've ripped it off. So this now here is sticky on top of that. Now you have to start being careful. Don't overly touch it because you're going to take the stickiness off, which is not going to be a good thing. Now I have a scrap of that gorgeous paper here, just an offcut, and I'm going to use this full size. And I'm going to, now how did I do this? I have to remind myself with the image. I'm going to bring that in this bottom corner and just, as much as I can, just mask off a whole corner there. Okay, so that's just across. So you can see there, I'm going to trim that off, but that's just a corner that's taken off there. Okay, so that's the start. Now I'm going to start bringing in our strips. So what I'm going to do is start here. I'm going to line it up with the edges and keep them about, I think it's probably about 1 mil. It'd be a 1/16 of an inch. It's not very much, but you're just basically keeping a bit of a gap between them. Now, obviously, the larger the gap you use, the more of the gold embossing you're eventually going to see. Okay, so if you make it a big gap, you're going to see more, which is probably a good thing. I might make these gaps a little bit bigger than I have, and we'll compare see what difference it makes to the technique. So what you're doing is you're laying down all these little pieces of strips of cardstock and you're lining them up with each other so that they're sort of straight and they have the same sort of gap running all the way along. And like that. And then I'm going to pop one more, I think, yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. A couple more this way. I'm sort of going for, in this case, I'm going for this one's like sort of almost like a herringbone type pattern, if you know what I mean there, because the little pieces will sort of fit up against each other. So that's that way. Now I'm going to come back in this way with some more strips. Not that one. So I'm trying to distance the strips the same distance away from each other, parallel where I can, but I'm also trying to mix them up a little bit so that they're not sort of monotonous. There's not too many running next to each other that are the same. And again, I'm trying to not fondle my adhesive too much so it stays nice and sticky. Okay, I think you can see where we're going here. Just going to go all the way along. Obviously, I'm then going to trim off these excess flappy bits. Oh, that ended really well there. That was just perfect size, that last one. And I'll pop in, I'll just put a couple here. Not that one. Not leave those. So I've got another couple of little pieces to pop there, which I'll do that next. So I'm going to grab my scissors. I'm going to trim these off. You can use your trimmer if you wanted to. I'm just going to trim them off in line with the card base or the card layer. That's sort of cack-handed that way. Don't want to do it that way. Let's go this way. Just trimming it off, running the scissors along that line. As I say, use your trimmer if you're more comfortable doing that. last little bit. For some reason my hands are shaking. Isn't that funny? How many videos have I done in my whole life, and today my hands are shaking. Okay, so that's those. Now I'll just bring a couple of little pieces there just to fill in those little gaps. There we go. And that's our little pattern all built up there. That's a little bit uneven there, Julianne. That's all good. There we go. So that's our sticky bits all stuck together. So I'm going to grab my embossing powder and my little tray, which has been a godsend ever since they introduced it, because I am a messy got heat embosser, and I'm going to put I need a new more. See how far down that's got, sort of really going. Anyway, I'm going to sprinkle it on those little adhesive sticky lines. And then I actually found that if you're very, very, very gentle, it helps to stick it, especially on the edges there. It helps to stick it if you gently rub your finger into the gaps, and you're just forcing the embossing powder into those little gaps. So it sticks nicely. There we are. Oh, and look, I made a mess. I told you. I'm a messy heat embosser. Okay, there we are. So that's our heat embossing powder. Just bear with me. I'm going to try and get that up. That's a lot of embossing powder to waste. Go on there, you. Yeah, okay, move that aside. Now I'll grab my heat gun. Just forgive the noise. And the magic will start to happen. Coming it that way. It's taking a bit too long to come from the back side. Okay, there we are. Now, I love the Christmas version with the red, but I think the earthy tones of the pecan pie and the sort of gold and I reckon I don't know what the yellow would be. Crushed curry, I reckon. I think they look just stunning together. See there? Okay, so let's finish this up. Now, this is gold foil, and as we know, gold foil tends to not behave itself when you use normal glue. Well, when it doesn't behave itself, it gets sticky. I mean, everything sort of moves around. So I'm going to use double-sided tape here, and I'm going to use quite a lot because the heat embossing, of course, has curled the paper a bit. So I'll use double-sided tape, and I'm going to use probably an excessive amount so that it sticks nicely to the gold. So that's 3 that way, and let's how many we go this way? 4 maybe. Snail would be just as good, but I think my snail's just about out. Okay, there we are. I can feel the grittiness of that heat embossing powder. Now the bad thing is when you're using your double-sided tape with a snail, you don't have that luxurious wriggle room. So I tend to just place it down in sections because I know it's going to need moving. It always does. There we are. That's pretty good. Okay, so just a very tiny border of the gold around the edge there sort of adds another layer to just another strip to our gold. And then both of these, with some glue this time, can go onto our pecan pie card base. I'm going to make this one as a landscape card, so the same as the other one. And there we are. Just flatten that out a bit. Okay, so that's all matted up. There we go. Now, for a little bit of decoration. Now, this paper, there is what is it? Gold. Cajun Craze and gold bling in the new catalogue. That would go perfectly with that design, but do you think I've got them? No, I haven't. I know I had them, but I think I used them for prizes for my recent launch. So I don't actually have them, but they would be perfect for this. If you've got them, use them. Gee, I sound bossy. But yeah, so I'm going to use something different anyway. And I'm going to use some black ephemera or black background ephemera from, this is the Greetings for All. Yeah, Greetings for All. I was going to try and see if I had the other thank you, because it's sort of like it's a thank you type card with the, but I haven't got another thank you. I'll just use best wishes. There we are. I'm going to pop that just in the corner down there. I'm going to back that with a little bit of ribbon. So this is the gold striped ribbon. Really, really nice, and the gold suits the gold of this really nicely. So I'm just going to use a little piece of that. Just give that a cut. Okay, pop that behind. I wonder if it's big enough to go behind. Like that. Might use some double-sided tape just to keep that in place. got my best wishes with some, oh, that's in the wrong position, isn't it? No, might give that a miss. In the other one, I actually used, where is it? I used, the thank you was a little bit bigger, so I put the ribbon underneath, but this best wishes is quite small, and I don't have time to muck around popping it on any background or anything like that. So I'm just going to grab some dimensionals and I'll leave the ribbon off that. My friend Deb will be watching and she say, you've forgotten your ribbon, but the thought was there. It's just not going to work with this sentiment. So anyway, I'm going to pop some dimensionals, little ones behind there. Oops. Come on. And then I'll bring out the bling I've decided to use. I think it is still current, the bling. I had it in my current box, but the way Stampin' Up do their retiring things at the moment, my retiring box is probably not as accurate. My current box is probably not as accurate as it used to be. I used to always move things out of my current box when they retired, but I can't keep up with it these days. But anyway, I'm going to use the tinsel gems because the gold ones just go perfectly with the gold here. They've just got that beautiful sort of almost a rosy tint to the gold. Anyway, and we'll pop some of those on and around as well. Don't get stuck there. There we are. Okay, and that one's done. So as I say, no room for the ribbon on this one, but there you go. So that's our gold embossed scrappy strip technique. As I say, if you've watched my little video, that's a longer version and slightly different as well. And I love the sort of the cross hash, the sort of herringbone look of that compared to the straight brick wall type look of the Christmas one that I made. Okay, so that's that. So that's the Gathering Together Designer Series paper. This one's the Traditions of Christmas, bit of gold embossing, and our what's the word? Our Greetings for All as well. So there we go. Okay, so that's the main star of the show. That's gorgeous. I love the gold in those little little strips in between. It's really, really nice. Okay, so let's make our card with the Courage and Love. Now, I didn't know what I wasn't really keen on making this card because I'm a little bit superstitious. Like, I don't make sympathy cards in advance because it's sort of like tempting fate almost. And I'm not superstitious or religious or anything like that, but it's just something I can't bring myself to do. If I need a sympathy card, I will make it at the time. But making one in advance seems a little bit, yeah. And also because sympathy cards are very, very personal. You don't want to think you just grab one out of a tin when somebody's going through something like that. But anyway, so I just wanted to show you the stamp set. This one is for a good purpose. And I suppose I will tempt fate for a good cause. Now, this one I made just when I was mucking around with it. I've used all the stamps from the stamp set and this focal point one here as well. And I made it as, and the ladies who do my fun fold classes will laugh at this, I made it as a window card. Okay, so I made it as a window card and I didn't even cry, not even once. So the ladies will who came to Zoom that night will probably realise that it almost ended in tears. But anyway, so I made it as a window card and I thought, well, that's probably a little bit fancy schmancy for something with the sentiment that we've got. So this one I'm just going to make as a plain card, exactly the same as that, but without the window element. So anyway, you can add the window element if you wish. And I'm going to put it on a Pretty in Pink card base, just slightly different from the other one. And I've got a layer of white, and this is where I'm going to do our stamping the background. So I'll get my Pretty in Pink and I'm contrasting that with our Secret Sea, my favourite go-to colour at the moment. So what I'm going to do is make a background using a few of the different stamps from the set. And I have to be careful because my iPad is being supported by my block box. That's okay, I'll move it, use that one. So this is a little ribbon. It's like the little pink ribbon, blue ribbon, whatever the ribbon of the particular cause is. And in my Pretty in Pink, and I'm just going to randomly pop just little ribbons all around here. I'll pop some half on and half off. Okay, so just a few of those there. I'll swap that out. There's a little heart here as well. As you can see, we're building up our little designer series paper almost, aren't we? Okay, that's probably enough there. Knowing Julianne, she'll go too far like she always does and put too many. Let's see if that's roughly the same. Roughly the same. Yep, I don't want to add any more there. Then what I'm going to do is come back with my Secret C and the love stamp. And I'm going to just randomly pop some love around there as well. Had a blank moment then. I couldn't work out how to remember how to close my stamp pad. It has been a while since I've been in the craft room. Okay, so that's my little background there. I might come in with some bits off the end. Okay, that's probably enough. Again, she'll go too far as usual. How's that Jan? Jan from Kyoto. Hello, Jan from Kyoto. Looks like you're having a lovely trip, you and Marianne. You are missed. Okay, so there we are. We have our background. So that's the background I'm going to use. Now, this is the sort of the focal point main stamp set of the set as far as I can see. It's a gorgeous, I'll show you the front of the box, might be easier. It's actually a half daisy or sunflower, I suppose it would be, and half words. So we've got some words of encouragement and strength and support on the side there to make up the circle. So that's what I'm going to stamp for the focal point of this one. Now, you can stamp it all in one colour. Just have it all pink or all yellow or all black or whatever colour you want. I'm going to have like half and half and get rid of that so I don't ruin it. I've got a scrap of white here and I'm actually using our real white, so you know it's special when I use my actual cardstock. I'm going to get back my Pretty in Pink and my Secret C. Move that for a second. And I'm going to be very careful, which is unlike me, and I'm going to get ink on half the, oh no, that's the pink. So the pink is the flower side. So the pink I'm going to pop on the flower side. So I'm just lining up the edge on the back of the stamp with the edge of my ink pad and sort of hoping for the best. So there, I've got my pink side there, then bring in my Secret C and do the same on the other side. Now, I would have used my Stamparatus or something similar to actually do it twice, but it was a bit tricky because I couldn't sort of line it up properly. So you've got to stamp it twice. Anyway, try it, you'll know what I mean. I had to stamp it twice and then try and line them up when I came back, and I found that a little bit tricky. So I found it easier just to put the ink on and just have to stamp it once. And look, it comes up fine. It's just perfect there because the line between them is nice and straight. So a little bit of an experiment and you can do it, no worries at all. Okay, so that's our little focal image. I think that's just really sweet. Really sort of poignant. Okay, so I have, now you have to have a bit of a play around with your circles. I found that the largest circle in Stylish Shapes fits around it perfectly, so I'm going to cut that with Stylish Shapes. Then this pink one here is the largest, one of the, no, not quite the largest, maybe second from largest in the Spotlight on Nature set. Okay, so yeah, so just play with whatever circle dies you've got and you'll find the right sizes, I'm sure. I'm just going to grab my cut and emboss machine. And run this through. Okay, so then I'm going to mount that onto the pink circle. I'm going to pop this on dimensionals. Where's my big dimensionals? There you are. And that onto the pink. Okay, and then that onto our little background that we've stamped, just like that. And I'm going to glue that. Okay. Now there is no sentiment or separate sentiment with this one. I honestly don't think it's needed. I mean, there is plenty of sentiment happening in this card already. Yeah, so I don't think any more words are needed. I was thinking about it the other night, actually. I mean, when Dad was going, and I'm sure many people feel the same, when Dad was going through his cancer, some of the nicest times we weren't talking. We were just sitting and just being, which was lovely. So that's, you know, part of the best memories of that horrible time was when we just sat in silence with each other. So words are not necessarily what you need in this sort of situation. And I hope I never have to go through that again. It was horrible. Anyway, so there we are. There's the card. I've popped it on the card base. And there we are. And then I'll pop a little white panel inside. Not that I want to use it, but as I say, it's crafting for a good cause. There you are. Bling-wise, I've got the 2024 to 26 in colour pearls here that have our Pretty in Pink, and I thought I'd just pop a couple of Pretty in Pinks around as well. There we go. Okay, so there we are. So that's just a plainer version, a plain sort of just single fold version of our window card that I did when I was having a play with the set. As I say, I don't think fancy schmancy fun fold cards are absolutely needed in this situation. I think plain and just heartfelt is the way to go. Anyway, there you go. So that is, I'm not going to get all morbid, that is our Love and Courage stamp set. If you wanted to buy a stamp set and know that you're contributing to a good cause, then this is the one to go. As I say, $4.25 Australian to Australian breast cancer research when you buy this one. Okay, so that's it. So that's our cards for today. Thank you for joining me. I know it's been a little while since I've been live, so forgive me if I was a little bit rusty, but gorgeous cards. They talk for themselves. So there we are. If you've got any questions about anything you've seen today, including that amazing joining offer, please, please, please reach out. My lovely little team, we'd love to have you. As I say, there's a couple of ladies on here who have recently joined, and they are very, very, very welcome. The more the merrier. But anyway, okay, so thanks for joining me. Have a great weekend. And I don't know when I'll be back. I don't know if I'll go back to Saturday videos. It depends what happens in the rest of my life. But watch for the event. I always pop an event up to say I'm coming live. So next time I come live, just watch for the event and